What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the No Cap Space post-game show. Doubleheader today in the WNBA playoffs. The Las Vegas Aces survive elimination with a big win, a statement win, a win that we've kind of been waiting for them to see, where maybe that championship switch can finally turn on. And it might have happened today. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Napheesa Collier. We want to talk about flipping the switch back. Yeah. She did that today, getting them up to 2-1. But most importantly, we got to tell you about using code NOCAP15 to get 15% off your first home field purchase at the link down below in the description. You already know. We got this is one.
Beautiful.
It's a great shirt, man. It really is. They got all types of like throwback women's basketball shirts. They got a bunch of just general basketball. Like it's great stuff.
Super soft. Wash is great.
Yeah. Shout out home field. Shout out to home field for real. Let's get into this game. I mean, like, welcome back, Vegas. It's like I posted a clip on Twitter where it's like, I think I got my swagger back. That one. That's what it felt like today. It started with A'ja Wilson at the very beginning of this game. I mean, we had kind of, I guess, laid out the challenge a little bit for her to, what, like this to Michael Irvin, what are you prepared to do about it? And today she set the tone from the beginning. She ended up not having like her craziest stat line that you always see, but she just from the very beginning of this game set the tone. And then I actually think it's the best case possible for the Aces, where the others took it and ran with it from there. We're gonna dive into all that, but Greer, just your general thoughts from this one. How are we feeling about the Aces? How are we feeling about the Liberty? What are the vibes right now for you coming off this?
I think the Aces came out with a sense of urgency that we have not seen them have really throughout this series so far. So, good on them, and obviously led by A'ja. Alicia Clark getting into foul trouble, I think, kind of helped them in a way because it got Meg minutes, right? It got it made the Aces kind of like dig deep and try to just figure some things out. And then Jackie just got off to played really well throughout the game. I think she led them in points tonight, hit 3.
24.
But with all that being said, I think the biggest storylines from this game are the fact that, that last comment hurt.
It's not Sean.
First of all, she is not one of them. And I've been saying that, like, as much as Shawnee rails on Sabrina and is an ethical hater, I am
I'll
just
text that to her right now.
But going back to my point, the storyline to me of this game is that they completely took Sabrina Ionescu out of the game, and really Jonquel Jones as well, because she had tons of foul trouble during this game too.
Yes.
And so Sabrina just never got comfortable in this game whatsoever, turned the ball over a ton, missed, shots that she's been making. And this is where that reputation of being like a front runner comes from, right? It's like, this is yes, in the first 2 games in New York, you can ball out, do all the things. But when the money is really on the line and you can send the defending champs home, you're a no-show.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like a no-show, not even just like
not a poor performance. It was, I mean, 1 for 7, which only 7 shot attempts too. I don't know, I off the top of my head how long it's been since she's only had 7 shot attempts, but I can't imagine there's many games where she's the starter with the least amount of shot attempts. I can't imagine there's too many of those this season. Only 4 points, a -23, which plus minus doesn't tell the full story always, but it could certainly do it today. I mean, to your point, like we had talked about last game where it felt like, okay, Sabrina, welcome. Like this is your level up moment. This is where you enter a different tier where you've performed like an all WNBA guard this season, but when it comes to respecting you in these big time moments like this, you entered that echelon in that last game in that fourth quarter, pretty much like 8 minutes on. Like it was an amazing quarter, and then to go an entire game today without, not even just like in clutch time, but like just to go an entire game and be a no-show. It's frankly unacceptable. Like you just can't have that. There's no chance that you can have
and
that.
if you really one of them ones, you don't need it. You don't need a coach to call a timeout. You don't need a screen, a rescreen. You don't need none of that. Just hit a bucket. Go to the free throw line. Anything.
Yes, yeah, which was really weird because Sabrina's been like that's her whole improvement this year has been able to get to the rim, and it never felt like once that she ever like really attacked. Like I can't picture her driving tonight in my head. Like she had one free throw and it was a technical foul. So like it was just weird. Like it's almost like her game like devolved tonight back into
that third quarter was absolutely brutal for the entire New York offense. Right, I think they go at 1.1 of 12.
It was bad. Yeah, it was
truly. And even if let's say they started 1 of 12, like they maybe finished 3 of something. Like
I want to say they had 6 points in the quarter. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it was.
It makes you wonder, like, what the fuck is Sandy doing over there? Because it's just like Vegas is steamrolling you right now. This game is getting out of hand, and you won't even call a timeout to make sure that you guys just run some good offense, right? I think they turned it over quite a few times in that third quarter as well, and like turned it over to start the court, like just disaster on top of disaster for the New York Liberty, and it just felt like I don't know. This is a Vegas team where I don't giving them a glimmer of hope is wrong.
Yeah, 100%
wrong. That's not.
This isn't a team you let stay around in a series. Like you don't do that with back-to-back defending champions. You don't do that when because I think today we truly saw it where like I couldn't tell you the last game that it felt like all their core 4 were actually firing on all cylinders. Like Chelsea Gray was like she had the swagger back. Like truly like today like with the passes, the one pass that she had on the pick and roll, like disgusting. Like I don't know.
Right? Like a pitcher throwing a curveball.
I'm saying like it feels like it shouldn't be like possible. The way that she put the spin on
ball did you see it? Like
yeah.
It got into Asia's shooting pocket. Like it like
I don't even know how Asia like caught it. Like I don't even know I don't even know that's coming. Like I mean like I said, today felt like the day like because obviously like Chelsea ends it with 10 and 7. I thought she was hitting some shots at times, but like that's not what you're looking for her for. Like in the comparison to the prior games where she didn't have like any assists, like her having 7 assists and being able to impact the game that she did in that way. And Vegas just got momentum, and Liberty did nothing to even attempt to stop it. Like to your point especially in the third quarter, where because like the first half, this was like. We might have a classic on our hands, like genuinely. Like it looked like Stewie and Asia were dueling, like they were, like everyone was going
9.5.
Yeah, like
worth hitting some really really tough shots. But again, it was like nobody's playing defense either because.
Oh yeah, no, there was a solid like 5 minutes in that second quarter where it was just like bucket. But I was having a blast. I ain't gonna lie, but like it truly was that. But yeah, like it was just. An interesting game where also I think a big part of this is that you got some bench production from the Aces with Tip Hayes getting 11. Like I to your point, Meg Gustafson getting extended minutes today, with Kia Stokes being injured and Alicia Clark getting into a little bit of foul trouble. So like it was just a weird game. Like I said, like when you lose John Quell early to foul trouble. And honestly, this is something that we've seen with John Quell in the past, where like when she gets in foul trouble, she kind of just taps out of the game at times.
Takes herself out of the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if I felt like those same exact vibes today, like because like usually it's
she's shaking her head going to the bench.
Okay, so there you go, because that's usually the telltale sign is the head shake. Like that's kind of what we've come to know.
It's her style on Asia, where it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So yeah, just when she starts to like not play smart on defense, like New York is kind of cooked. And then all series long, they've kind of been pointing to, or earlier in the series, like if John Quell has a double-double, this is what it does for the Liberty, and she was like nowhere near.
Yeah, no, today she ends with 11-6 on 8 shots. Like it's just
and only not enough. 6 rebounds is not enough.
Only 2 free throws, which I think there was a couple that could have definitely been fouls. Like the one where like Asia like landed on top of her was.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. So officiating, and I see lots of people talking about it in the chat. Officiating was absolutely horrendous this game, but they were down 20, y'all. Like during the game, that's not all officiating. That's a lot of that is Sandy just refusing to run like solid offense for them in the third quarter, and letting Vegas get a 20-point lead and shit like that.
Yeah, like it's like I said, it's just there was no like resilience, maybe if that's the word. Like in the second half, like it was truly odd to me, honestly. Like I said, because this first half, like we mentioned, was back and forth. They were going at it, and then the third quarter comes, and it's like as soon as it became like Vegas got in that first run initially, and then once it got even to just like an 8-point lead, it just everything fell apart with really no resistance at all, or change, or any type of shift. It just kind of kept going. Which was very interesting to me. I do come bearing statements from Andrew and Shawnee. Congrats to Andrew, by the way, newlywed. His was just this. He was not very happy. Shawnee's was, in response to that in our chat, just this. With, and I quote, y'all let a role player playing well at home fool y'all. Hear me now, believe me later. That was her statement. I'm sure you can guess on who that is.
Believe me later.
A bar. Joe, to your point, this is something that I mean, we've had this conversation before at times. Greer, I'm interested on your perspective with this as someone who, got to experience Sandy winning the championship with Diana Taurasi in Phoenix. Is this like? Is she the coach for this Liberty team in this way that can kind of truly take them over the hump, or are we talking super team carry type stuff here?
Well, of the 4 coaches left in the postseason, she's the worst one. Yeah, left. If I'm being honest, like I get that Steph White doesn't have any championships, I understand.
But Steph White she be coaching. She be coaching.
So yeah, I think she's the weakest of the 4 left. Very cool. Also, that it's all women left. That's really cool. I hadn't thought about that before. Ew. No. Yeah, she's the weakest of the 4, and yeah, I mean, yes, keep in mind like who she had in 2014 when Phoenix won that championship. We're talking about obviously my goat, a goat, whatever. Brittany Griner, whatever. I mean, she was a rookie then, so I can't even I won't give her like too much. But Dewana Bonner, who now has played the most. I think
most playoff games and is second in points
ever. So, yep. Candace Dupree, Penny Taylor, just an amazing team, And New York is very similar in the fact that they just have a lot of talent. That third quarter, I would be shocked, honestly. I think Sandy is really good about accepting accountability as a coach. I would be shocked that if she doesn't touch on her job tonight in the presser, post-game presser. I would be shocked if she didn't mention that she just kind of buried her head in the sand in the third quarter there.
Yeah, no, I expect it, and we know post-game pressers in this series have been fun. So I mean, I'm gonna be interested to see what Becky says in hers and how she feels about this. I mean, obviously you got to feel good about it, but clearly there was some level of response. And this was the first elimination game ever under Becky Hammond for the Aces. So this was completely new territory for them. And I mean, you can't really complain about how they responded when you think about back against the wall, coming out early and doing your thing and not taking really your foot off the gas once it was officially rolling. across the board, you can't ask for much more. Jackie played well. KP played well. Like, I mean, can't really ask for much more. Yeah, like I said, I'll be very interested. I going into this series, I had Liberty in 4. I thought that this would be the game that the Vegas Aces would win. I didn't think it was going to be in this type of manner where there was a steamroll. And so now, like, when I'm thinking about in 4, like, now Vegas has momentum that I honestly thought going into this series, if I was like, I was going, okay, Liberty win both at home, Vegas kind of survives a game 3 and then loses in game 4. That's not what happened here. And now the momentum that you're keeping in play is going to be incredibly interesting to see how if that can carry over, because if it does, it might get wicked. Like it might get wicked.
New York does not win on Sunday, I think they should be very afraid.
Absolutely. And boy, the dialogue that would spawn from that, that would be.
Listen, I thought tonight we were gonna get that night, a Friday night. I can be patient. I can wait for Sunday.
well, let's get to your good news from tonight. Because even though one Husky didn't get it done, another one did. And Napheesa Collier. My goodness. Talk about a bounce back game. 26, 11 and 19, was there on the defensive side of the ball. Like, this was an interesting win for the Lynx because it wasn't exactly their normal formula, and we can get into that. But for Napheesa specifically, for you, like, take us into it. What was the bounce back here for this? It was just kind of back to normal, I feel like.
You kind of figured that she would, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the first couple games, first game, just the entire team just kind of let go of that game and had Connecticut. I mean, Connecticut probably shouldn't have won that game either if we're just keeping it a bean. Second game 2, much more convincing, but she still just wasn't on track offensively. And I'm like, there's just no way that she's going to have 3 games like the one, 3 games in a row like that. But again, it's just like the diet of shots, right? Like assisted, unassisted, turnarounds, left, right shoulder, like
the entire bag.
Footwork, impeccable. She is capable of scoring from every single place on the court effectively with efficiency. And she's just dangerous, incredibly dangerous, a great passer, uses defense to get her offense flowing. Just a real superstar in this league and for the Minnesota Lynx.
100%. Like, one thing that really stood out to me today specifically, and it's not, we've definitely seen it before, but it's interesting to me when Fee's shot comes off like the 4th or 5th pass of a possession, because the way the Lynx can get the defense off balance and they can just like lose players at times is crazy. And it's not that the Connecticut were doing anything wrong. This is just what the Lynx are able to do with how well they move the ball.
Like, all moving from side to side.
Man, it's crazy.
For a layup and uncontested.
Like I think there were, in the second half alone, there was maybe 3 just wide open layups that he was able to get, and it was all purely because of moving the ball. I think they got the pick and roll game rolling much way better than the first couple of games. I mean, Courtney Williams was fantastic today. Like, just her ability to. It's just really impressive how she has a great sense of when to speed it up and can still move fast, like on an individual level, when the team is in the half court, it's a really kind of odd thing to try and explain, but like I mean, she had 16 points, 8 assists on 7 of 10 shooting. Like, you can't ask for much more from your point guard. Like, that is phenomenal. And that's all while orchestrating. Right.
Like, right. The command that Courtney's been playing with again all season long, truly.
Yeah, 100%. All season
long, is I don't even know what year this is for Courtney, but it just goes to show, like, with coaching, the right pieces around you, like, there's a lot of players in this league who aren't being maximized, and Cheryl and her staff have like completely cracked the code for Courtney Williams and made basketball just incredibly simple for her. And it's showing in this playoff run so far.
Yeah, I believe it's year 9 for Courtney, if I'm not mistaken. And like to your point, like being able to now figure it out is and to maximize a player that's in year 9. And that's honestly like kind of the story of this whole Lynx team. Like on paper, this is not when it comes to names jumping out at you compared to every other team left in the playoffs, especially like this is not the team you would be expecting to be arguably the championship favorite right now. Like it is
the best basketball. For sure.
Yeah. Like it's so like, but it's truly like Kayla McBride, you found a new home. Like to your point, Courtney Williams, find a new home, playing your best basketball. Napheesa Collier has just kind of been on a steady track throughout this entire time, just improving year by year. And it all has just come together at the perfect time. Even like Alana Smith, Bridget Carlton, like all these names are not like there's very few like purely homegrown names on this Lynx team, but it's a lot of players that got kind of casted aside from different franchises that all have now been pieced together into a championship contender. And it's so impressive and so much credit to Cheryl Reeve in being able to figure out how this all works. Because like I said, I mean, all the preseason polls, it was like the highest people had it was like 6th, I think, in the W, you know? Like some people didn't even have them in the playoffs. And so to be able to flip that completely is incredible.
What did they hold Connecticut to shooting? What did they hold them to?
Let's talk about Connecticut because it was nasty. 30 of 73, so 41%. 3 of 20 from 3-pointer, 15% overall, including 1 of 11 from Marina Mabry. And I think that kind of like it's interesting to me because it kind of just comes down to like the sun became the sun again when Marina Mabry wasn't providing the perimeter scoring, where it was like they were able to they just never could make a counter run, which has kind of always been one of the big problems for me with Connecticut, like throughout this era of Connecticut basketball, is that they might be able to stop you, but they can't consistently get buckets on the other side. And that's where Marina Mabry has been so massive throughout these playoffs for them. But then you have a game like today, and they just were not able, especially in that second half, really to kind of get within like 6 points. Like it never got like lower than that. And it was just a struggle for them. And it's interesting because like they score 81. Like if you're Connecticut, normally that's a good night, and usually you're holding the other team to less than. So not only were you struggling from 3, but you weren't playing defense in the way that you are, to a credit, I think, more so to the Lynx than anything Connecticut did. Just because, like I said earlier, the ball movement that the Lynx have, they weren't disrupting the passing lanes like they were in the past game. Like it was a really weird game, honestly, for Connecticut, like where they almost outscored the Lynx, and it's never about outscoring for Connecticut. It's about stopping you from scoring. So it was just a weird one across the board. But I mean, like
they played where they all showed up wearing black, and then you get asked me to.
Okay, I have a problem with that. Because why are you showing up in all black to a non-elimination game? All black is for the funeral.
Somebody's not doing the math right.
Like, come on, this ain't best of 3. Like this is like I hate wearing all black to a non-elimination game at the feast.
And maybe it wasn't intentional, but you gotta know how that looks.
The whole team was coordinated, man. It was everyone was coordinated. But yeah, like I said, I mean, like there was several like really good performers in this game. Like I mean, Bree Jones has 21 points. Like this is probably her best.
She definitely
She's probably her best game in the playoffs. Mm-hmm.
Yep. She had struggled in the first 2 games, but again, like Minnesota, that's if you can think of like one area that they struggled in this season, it's playing teams that have a lot of size.
Mm-hmm.
So, Embry Jones, we're talking about an all-star in this league.
Yeah,
a really good player in this league. So all you can do is make it hard on her. Like eventually she will break through because that's just the kind of player that she is. But being able to mitigate, you'll give up 2s for if you're not giving up 3s.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, this was again kind of an interesting game to me because like we talk about like Minnesota only shoots 15 threes tonight. Like that's lower than you. Like Connecticut taking more 3s than Minnesota throughout this series is weird to me. Like that is not what the tendencies of the season point to. Even Minnesota only having 1 more assist on this game than Connecticut. Like these are not the tendencies, but this kind of goes back to what we've been talking about with Minnesota throughout the entire season, is that their habits that they have, there's so many that they can rely on that they can win in different ways. And like I said, they 2'd Connecticut to death today. Like it was layups, it was mid range. Like they tooed them to death, and it all starts with the ball movement that they had, just continuously having Connecticut off balance on defense. It never felt like they were able to like truly kind of sit down and stop really, like, you know, and just it was just kind of constantly flowing. But yeah, like this is it's gonna be interesting now because now Connecticut, you are on your home floor. Your back is against the wall now, and it's either time to win or be disrespected. And like it is like that. Get the hashtag ready. Get your back against the wall. Like it's now or never. And we've been talking about it. Like this Connecticut Sun team has all the potential in the world to win the finals this season. If Marina Mabrey does Marina Mabrey things like earlier in the playoffs. I don't think with her struggling shooting like this, like if this happens again, it's going to be very hard for them to.
I know we don't want to be on here all night, but I do want to say this is like,
yeah,
Marina Mabrey came from a team that was losing, right, in the Chicago Sky. She was their leading scorer, I think, or second leading scorer, maybe at the time of the trade or something like that. Was playing in the backcourt with Kennedy Carter. And prior to that, like, depending on who you ask, I think everybody can agree, like, what Chicago traded to get her was just completely lopsided and incorrect. And then kind of, I guess what I want to say is, like, I don't even put tonight on Marina. She is a late addition to this team. She keeps them honest, like from an offensive standpoint. To me, the Achilles heel is always going to be that your best player is a non-threat on offense. That is the Achilles heel of this team. If Alyssa Thomas is so predictable that if you're not hitting threes, you've got like nothing else to go to, kind of.
No, I mean, you're right.
Like, to me, that is like the elephant in the room. Is like, is she an outstanding player? Absolutely. But in the playoffs, when you need to be running half-court offense, and that's your hub, like, it's just, you're making it hard on yourselves.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, I mean, it's always been the dilemma, really, for Connecticut, where it's like Alyssa, like, obviously she's a good player. Like the production is there, like everything is there. But like, to your point, when it's crunch time, like you are having to almost always find a different option. And like that is where Dwana Bonner has come through on plenty of occasions. That is where a player like a Marina can come through. But ultimately, to your point, knowing you have to turn to someone else almost every time is just.
And the defense knows that too.
Yeah. I mean, like, this entire series, we've seen Napheesa be manned up on AT and just kind of floating in and out, like just kind of picking her battles, and allowing a defender like Napheesa, who already rotates super well, to just roam. It's not good. Like it's just not. So I agree with you, and ultimately, if I'm Connecticut, more than likely you're looking at your defense tonight is what to blame. Because like ultimately you scored 81, and for the Sun, like that is a very solid mark to hit. But giving up 90 has never been a recipe of success for Connecticut. That's just not what they do. So I think ultimately, like, that's what you look at. Like, if you're like pointing to one thing, but I am intrigued to see how Mabrey does respond now. Because to your point,
she made her last one, right? Or her?
Yeah, I think so. So it was at the very end. It was one of the last.
So like eventually it went in. I expect her to rebound. Like
I do too. I do too. Like I fully expect her to come back, and honestly, like I can't.
Because I was listening on the broadcast. I also wondered, like, just attitude wise, she seemed a little different today. Not her usual self. And I heard her say, like, in the broadcast, they said, like, you know, she has for her to remember, like, why she's here, why she plays and stuff like that. But, like, Marina playing with edge is necessary.
Yeah. That's what she does. I mean, and that's the whole character of this team. Like this Connecticut, it is disrespect through and through. Like and that's why honestly, like I really can't wait for this game to see them back against the wall because they have that edge regardless. And then you add elimination game factor. Like this next game should be very fun. Like it should be. They're gonna it's gonna be physical as hell. Like they are going to. I fully believe that Connecticut's goal is going to be to punch first and to make it physical from the beginning and completely muck it up just like they had done in previous games where like in game 1 where they were able to pull off the win. But yeah, that's Sunday. I don't think we have game times yet. Let me see. Let me refresh. Oh, here we go. Okay. So 3 Eastern, we got New York, Vegas, and then 5 Eastern, we got Minnesota, Connecticut. And the best part about it is we'll be here after both of them talking. It's elimination game Sunday. I can't wait. It's winter. I mean, it's put up or shut up time for a lot of these teams that have cores that, frankly, we don't know how many of these cores, like how well these are all going to stick together after this season. Like there's a lot of question marks. There's expansion coming up. There's a whole lot of things, a whole lot of factors that could be playing into these teams looking a whole lot different next season. And this finals windows might be closing depending on how things shake out and how chaotic stuff can get. So we'll have to wait and see, but we'll be here on Sunday to break it all down. Make sure you guys use code NOCAP15 to get 15% off your first home field order in the description below. Subscribe here, hit the bell to be notified when we go live on Sunday. We got a couple interviews in the chamber. The one we just did, yeah, it's one of them ones. So be on the lookout for that come college season, where that's going to be part of our kickoff because college is right around the corner. So we'll be excited for that. Hit the Substack down below as well, and we'll see you next time.